My name is Max, and the Haunted Carnival was the stuff of local legends, an annual event that both terrified and intrigued the residents of our small town. Tales of sinister spirits, ghostly apparitions, and dark rituals swirled around the carnival like a shroud of mystery. One night, curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to experience the Haunted Carnival for myself, a decision that would lead me into a nightmarish world of terror. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the carnival grounds came alive with a ghostly glow. The flickering lights and eerie music set the stage for a night of horror and excitement. My friends and I entered the carnival, our hearts pounding with anticipation. The atmosphere was electric, and the air was charged with a palpable sense of foreboding. As we explored the carnival's attractions, I noticed strange occurrences of flickering light that seemed to dance with an unseen force, a cold gust of wind that sent shivers down my spine, and unsettling whispers that seemed to linger on the edge of my hearing. As we ventured deeper into the carnival, the atmosphere grew more sinister. The once cheerful rides now seemed twisted and grotesque, their colors fading into an eerie shade of gray. The laughter of children turned to haunting echoes, and the carnival workers wore somber expressions, their eyes devoid of life. One attraction caught our attention: the haunted house, a dilapidated mansion that loomed in the distance. Its facade was adorned with eerie decorations, and a sign warned visitors of the horrors that awaited inside. Despite our apprehension, we couldn't resist the lure of the haunted house. As we stepped inside, a chill settled in the air, and the darkness seemed to stretch endlessly before us. The haunted house was a maze of winding corridors and claustrophobic rooms. The walls whispered chilling secrets, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. As we moved deeper into the darkness, I could sense a malevolent presence lingering in the shadows. In the distance, I heard faint cries and eerie laughter, blending into a haunting symphony of terror. The walls seemed to close in around us, and the floorboards creaked with an unseen force. As we turned a corner, a spectral figure materialized before us, an ethereal woman with hollow eyes and a tattered gown. She reached out with bony fingers, her haunting moans sending waves of fear through my body. Before I could react, the figure vanished, leaving me trembling with terror. My friends and I exchanged fearful glances, unsure of what we had just witnessed. We pressed on, the haunting atmosphere weighing heavily on our minds. The haunted house seemed to take on a life of its own, as if it were an entity intent on consuming us. The rooms grew more grotesque with each step, distorted mirrors that reflected sinister versions of ourselves, blood-stained walls that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, and eerie dolls that stared at us with unblinking eyes. I felt as if we were trapped in a never-ending nightmare, unable to find our way out of the haunting maze. The air was thick with a sense of malevolence, and the carnival seemed to feed off our fear. Suddenly, a deafening scream echoed through the haunted house, and I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. I turned to see a ghostly figure, a child with a hollow expression and eyes filled with sorrow. "I can't find my way home," the child whispered, his voice a haunting echo in the darkness. Fear and pity consumed me, and I desperately tried to comfort the spirit. "Don't worry, we'll help you find your way," I replied, my voice trembling. As we moved through the haunted rooms, the child spirit guided us, leading us to a hidden passage that we hadn't noticed before. We followed the ghostly figure, our hearts pounding with anticipation. The passage led us to a forgotten corner of the carnival, a desolate space shrouded in darkness. There, we found a decrepit tent, its entrance adorned with ominous symbols. Curiosity got the better of us, and we cautiously entered the tent. Inside, we found an altar surrounded by flickering candles, a makeshift shrine to some unknown entity. Before we could retreat, the tent door slammed shut behind us, sealing us inside. Panic set in, and we tried to force the door open, but it was as if an invisible force held it shut. As we turned around, a haunting figure materialized before us, an ethereal woman with a malevolent smile. She wore a tattered gown, and her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. "Welcome to the Carnival of Shadows," she whispered, her voice a chilling echo in the air. "You've entered a world of nightmares, where the living are trapped and the dead roam freely." Fear consumed us, and we begged the woman to let us go. But she merely laughed, her laughter echoing through the tent like a haunting melody. "The Carnival of Shadows feeds on fear," she continued. "Your terror sustains us, and you are now a part of our eternal nightmare." As the walls seemed to close in around us, I realized that we had stumbled upon a malevolent force beyond our comprehension, a carnival of horrors that preyed on the living, trapping us in a nightmarish realm from which there was no escape. As the night wore on, the haunted carnival grew more sinister, and the malevolent spirits that lurked in the shadows seemed to feed off our fear. We were trapped in a haunting nightmare, a world where the line between the living and the dead blurred into an indistinguishable haze. My friends and I had dared to venture into the Carnival of Shadows, and now we were paying the price for our curiosity. In the darkness, the malevolent spirits of the carnival whispered haunting secrets, their chilling voices an echo of the horrors that awaited us. As the night stretched on, I realized that we were trapped in a realm of darkness and terror, a carnival that would haunt us forever, a living nightmare from which there was no escape. The Carnival of Shadows had claimed us, and we were forever trapped in its malevolent grasp.